Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barito. Let's take a look at the headlines. The Unemployment Relief Program has officially been expanded to include the agricultural sector. Memorandum of Understanding signed between NEDCO and TUCO. And new Point 14 desalination plant begins operations. Thank you for joining us to our top story. The Unemployment Relief Program has now officially been expanded to include the agricultural sector. Minister of Food Production, Senator the Honorable Devant Maharaj, has formally launched the program in Felicity.
The URP continues to expand as the government aims to streamline the operations of the state-run program, which provides short-term employment to citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. URP Agriculture is consistent with the program's mandate of enhancing the entrepreneurial skills of individuals and community groups and to assist in the delivery of small-scale projects in various communities.
The Ministry of Food Production developed 3 core services to enrich the lives of approximately 10,000 URP workers. These include 1, a 3-month training program to provide semi-skilled labor for farms, provision of training and infrastructure to agriculture community projects under a pilot community-supported agricultural program, and now the assistance with the maintenance of infrastructure on farm holding, such as small access roads and waterways, inclusive of irrigation and drainage, which are very much needed in the sector.
Minister Maharaj lauds the training aspect of URP agriculture, saying it marries persons' need for employment with farmers' need for employees. He adds that by next month he expects URP agriculture would have enhanced the lives of almost 1,000 persons, a number he expects to triple in coming years.
Persons are trained in a variety of areas in agriculture, such as home gardening, grow boxes, integrated pest management system, crop marketing, and so on. Since March 2012, Agricultural Now Unit has trained some 572 persons from 12 areas throughout Trinidad, including Point 14, Sandy Grande, Brasso Seco, Silot, Chaguanas, to name a few. The 5th training session will commence this Monday. This will involve 8 stations across Trinidad, with a total of 229 persons already expressing an interest. In 3 years' time, we hope to train, it is our intention to train, close to 3,000 persons. This will go a very long way in curbing the labor shortage on farms, and I'm sure that a number of these trainees will move on themselves to become agri-entrepreneurs and add to the development of the agricultural sector.
The Food Production Minister also reveals plans for a new project which is aimed at developing communities through agriculture. The Community Shared Agricultural Program is expected to cater to the unique needs of some communities in the country.
This pilot project is just one example how the Ministry of Food Production, in collaboration with URP, is engaging communities in agriculture. The program will comprise training and infrastructure support for crop production, nursery production, plant propagation, aquaponics, and so on. For 1 year, the Ministry of Food Production will provide a stipend to each person involved, as well as funding for infrastructural work and consumables needed for the site development and activities. Thereafter, the community will assume full autonomy. The produce generated will be distributed on a weekly, fortnightly basis to each family in the group and selected charities within the community. Extra produce will be sold, and the funds will be used for community development projects.
Minister Maharaj says measures have been put in place to monitor the project and ensure transparency. He believes the project will go a long way in providing both income and employment to communities which need it.
This program is designed so as to ensure communities become empowered and can stand on their own after only 1 year of assistance by the Ministry of Food Production. The aim is for these communities to develop a viable and a profitable business enterprise in agriculture. So far, 2 sites have been identified, Cashew Gardens and Vision with a Mission, and I anticipate as more sites come on board, the nation can achieve prosperity for all, community by community.
Gregory McBurney, News 4.
In other news, no longer will Calypsonians have to depend on raffle sheets, barbecues and odd jobs to acquire funds to produce their annual releases. This as the government has taken steps to ensure that easy access to funds is now a reality.
Calypsonians across Trinidad and Tobago should not only be seen as simply entertainers or cultural ambassadors, but also as businessmen and businesswomen who offer a lot more to the local economy than is thought. On Tuesday, the National Entrepreneurship Development Company Limited made a crucial move that will assist in the paradigm shift that Calypsonians have been so deserving of for more than 100 years.
We have to ensure that in this country, when we talk calypso and music and entertainment, we don't just mean let me wind to a good road march and have a time. We eat and drink and the carnival was nice. We have to ensure that we change the way in which this country and our citizens and our calypso lovers and our music lovers and cultural enthusiasts, the way in which they appreciate and acknowledge the music that we bring. We have to change that.
The TUCO president spoke of the many challenges that the organization has been facing in the last 5 to 6 years, and as such, he welcomed the Memorandum of Understanding that will see Calypsonians become future clients of NEDCO as entrepreneurs.
The Trinbago Unified Calypsonians organization had to claw its way out of a space, had to establish a new platform, had to establish a new face, the face of the corporate world. The understanding that we stand as a giant within the creative sector, that we stand as the vanguard when the creative industry is ready to move forward. That understanding that is where we are located. We had was to live that. We had to make that a reality.
NEDCO was established in August 2002 as a limited liability state-owned organization mandated to be the implementing agency for government's policy on small and micro enterprise development. NEDCO has encouraged entrepreneurs to start small businesses that make the most of indigenous resources and native talents in non-traditional areas. These businesses have the potential to contribute to value-added activities in the SME value chain and have high export potential as branded Caribbean heritage products.
We acknowledge that the creative sector can be the powerhouse of the local economy, but many times this sector has been hampered by the lack of support in terms of training, mentoring, and access to resources such as funding and beneficial networks that can help their business to grow. At NEDCO, we see our role as more than just a source of funding for budding entrepreneurs, but we are also a major support base for people who have great ideas and don't know how to move it forward. Often, we realize the money is not the only need for many small businesses. And we strive to help many of our clients to plan, manage, budget, and organize their businesses more effectively.
The Honourable Minister of Arts and Multiculturalism spoke of the way in which the government's intervention would assist the Calypsonians.
Well, in some ways, the Calypsonian is still the social conscience and the mouthpiece of the society. And as Resistance always reminds us, it's through Calypso our stories are told. We believe that this venture is important in terms of advancing the profession and producing or publicizing our work of arts so that it is accessible to the international community, that in the final analysis or in the continuing analysis, it would yield benefit to all the various stakeholders.
The Minister of Small and Micro Enterprise Development shared similar sentiments, saying that it was the government's hope that NEDCO's involvement with TUCO will help the organization achieve its mandate of providing for the artistic, social and economic welfare of its members, increasing the exposure of Calypso to the people of the world.
Trinidad and Tobago is a small place, and it is blessed with an abundance of resources. What we must be doing now is positioning ourselves to continue our growth and development in the absence of oil and gas. It is going to end one day.
With this latest initiative, the creative industry is expected to grow from strength to strength with the tools necessary for economic independence and development placed in the hands of hundreds of Calypsonians. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
When we come back, new desalination plants. Stay with us. The first release of additional water into the WASA's distribution system from its new Point Fortin desalination plant has commenced. This comes as WASA looks forward to receiving an additional boost to its water supply come August this year, when the new plant comes fully on stream. Over 30,000 domestic and industrial customers of the Water and Sewage Authority stand to benefit from the new Point Fortin desalination plant. According to a release from WASA, the new desal plant is scheduled to release its first 1.25 million gallons of water per day from Wednesday, 24th July, and by August, the plant will ramp up to its full operation capacity of 4.6 million gallons of water per day. Service is expected to improve in areas in the Point Fortin district such as Tiche Village, Guapo, Sobo Village, Vance River, La Brea and La Brea Industrial Estate. Now, this is expected to also lend supply to companies in the areas such as Petrotrin and Atlantic LNG. Currently, customers in the area have long endured supply as few as 1 or 2 days per week. With the addition, customers can expect a 5-day service and a 24/7 supply by August of this year. In other news, government is continuing its nationwide drive to promote the switch by offering citizens the option to exchange their normal household bulbs for the CFLS. Energy Minister Kevin Ramnarine says the plan is part of government's step to join in the global move in phasing out the use of incandescent bulbs.
The push to use less energy is taking a new direction, as the Ministry of Energy is on a drive to expand the use of compact fluorescent light bulbs over the popular incandescent bulbs across homes in Trinidad and Tobago. It's part of the bulb exchange program, where the ministry visits districts throughout the nation, calling on citizens to bring forward their typical light bulbs in exchange for the CFL bulbs. Each household is allotted 2 of the bulbs in exchange for the incandescents. The use of these bulbs is also part of the wider plans of reducing the use of natural gas energy. In its second installment since its launch in Penal earlier this month, the bandwagon rolled into the central village of Felicity, where Energy Minister Kevin Ramnarine explained how the program works and why the need to use these bulbs as opposed to the regular incandescent.
We simply waste too much energy in Trinidad and Tobago at the domestic level and at the industrial level. And energy conservation is one of the things that the ministry is trying to promote. Now, this program, the light bulb exchange program, is very important. The compressed fluorescent lamp, the CFL, is already widely used in Trinidad and Tobago. Many of you all, I'm sure, have some of those lamps at your home. But we want to have an even broader use, an even wider use of those CFLs.
Compact fluorescent light bulbs use at least 2/3 less energy than standard incandescent bulbs to provide the same amount of light, and they last up to 10 times longer. CFLs also generate 70% less heat, so they are safer to operate and can also reduce energy costs associated with cooling homes and offices. Minister Ramnarine says by switching to CFLs not only conserves energy but reduces this country's carbon footprint or its contribution to global warming.
You must also take your own initiative to conserve energy at home. And I've been looking at simple things like your refrigerator. Your refrigerator uses a lot of electricity. And a lot of people have a lot of things in the refrigerator that contribute to energy inefficiency. A lot of old rotten vegetables and so on in your refrigerator. It requires electricity to keep that cold. So if you take it out of your fridge and throw it away, your fridge becomes more efficient. You use less electricity to cool down your fridge. So those are some of the ways that you could save electricity. If you were to tint the windows in your home, you are also saving electricity because you have less heat coming in.
The minister also outlined plans to introduce solar-powered lights along the roadways in its effort to go green and be energy efficient. He added that steps were being taken to ensure the affordability of these more environment-friendly bulbs.
We are going to be replacing the lights along the bus route with solar lights, and the buses that operate the bus route will be running on compressed natural gas. That's the way of the future. The University of the West Indies will be collecting data to show that there has been a drastic reduction in the energy consumption, the electricity use in that house. We are doing that also in Penal, we'll do it in Barretarial, we'll do it in Tobago. And those 4 pilot projects will be used now to inform our policy. And the policy prescription that we want to make is that we have duties, of course, to import bulbs. And for these CFLs, we want to remove all import duty. So we bring the price down because the CFLs are more expensive than the incandescent, but they last a lot longer.
During the visit, residents in the area were invited to fill out a questionnaire on energy use patterns through appliances in their homes. Through this, the Energy Ministry may facilitate the switching of their most frequently used light bulbs at home to CFLs. Around the world, governments are passing measures to phase out the use of incandescent and switch to more energy-efficient lighting alternatives. Global phase-out regulations effectively ban the manufacture, importation or sale of current incandescent light bulbs for general lighting. The regulations would allow sale of future versions of incandescent bulbs if they are sufficiently energy efficient. Kimberly Ram-Calawan, News 4.
When we come back, great reviews still coming in for the Soca Warriors. More positive reviews for the Soca Warriors Gold Cup performance are coming in. News 4 correspondent Wayne Cunningham and cameraman Nicholson Paul, who are having a time with the Gold Cup, caught up with Soca Warrior fans after the Soca Warriors exit of the Gold Cup, and they gave positive feedback for the football team.
News 4 Sports at the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Courtesy the Ministry of Sports and the Sport Company of Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, we are here at the Georgia Dome after Trinidad and Tobago's 1-0 defeat to Mexico in the CONCACAF Gold Cup. And we have a Trini fan living here in Atlanta. Andre, tell us what you thought about the Trinidad and Tobago performance tonight.
Much improved, nothing to be ashamed about. We're proud of the team. It's just like with England back in 2006 in the World Cup, 83 minutes, they get a lucky goal. We form good. We had some good counter-attacking. Kenwin looked like a beast. This whole tournament, Kenwin looked good. I find the team improved under Stephen Hart. Everything looking better. I think the future bright for Trinidad football.
Talking about the future, what would you like to see going forward with regards to Trinidad and Tobago football as a football fan outside here and seeing the exploits of the team? What would you like to see going forward?
Well, football is started at the youth level, at the grassroots level. So, like in Brazil, like in the African countries, like in all of Europe, for instance, Holland, where Bean Hacker come from, right? These fellas in academies and organized situations from the time they're like 7 years old, that is where you have to start. You can't wait for a man to start looking good in Intercal or a man to go abroad and, then you're calling them up, or you're here, or somebody, father or grandfather from Trinidad, and then you call them up. We have to start at the youth level in Trinidad, right? Then we have, plenty expats abroad, pick up people like that, but it's all grassroots. And we need the Football Federation to support grassroots level development.
All right. Well, you're here and you're a big football fan.
Mm-hmm.
Right, tell me one more time about the performance for Trinidad and Tobago and pick out your most, the player you like the most.
The player I say I like the most tonight was Keon Daniel, number 19, playing in front of that back four. He played like a beast in front of that back four, hold it up good and for a defensive midfielder. He had some good, attacking moves as well. And, of course, Kenwin is the man right now. It's Kenwin team right now. Kenwin play hard, Kenwin look good, he used that strength, and he make them Mexican defenders work for the money tonight.
Thanks a lot. Well, as Andre said, we worked hard, but unfortunately, it was a loss versus Mexico. But we had some positive signs. So look out for more Warrior football.
News 4 Sports at the CONCACAF Gold Cup. courtesy the Ministry of Sports and the Sport Company of Trinidad and Tobago.
More news after this. Stay with us. One month after teenage brothers Arshad and Jafar Kadir were killed at the Arangwa Savannah, Minister of the People and Social Development, Dr. the Honorable Glenn Ramadan Singh, visited the relatives of the deceased to offer his condolences to the family.
Minister of the People Dr. Glenn Ramadan Singh visited the home of slain teens Jafar and Arshad to offer his condolences to the grieving family. 1 month ago, the two teenagers were watching a football match at the Arangwa Savannah when they were approached by two men armed with knives who attempted to steal mobile phones from them and stab them during the robbery. At their home, their parents put on display their trophies received for academic and sporting achievements at school. During the visit, Minister Ramadan Singh listened to the parents and offered his willingness to provide assistance through counselling to the family if they desired. However, the minister noted that such an incident was an indication of the values that needed to be instilled among young people in society today.
This is the loss of two young people who were involved in the pursuit of their recreational activities in a nearby facility. It seemed as if they were avid sportsmen, cricketers and footballers, both of them cricket and football. And this is a normal thing since they were kids. And here it is, because of a cell phone, they had lost their lives to other young people. This is not a good indicator. It's a serious warning that there is a lot of work to do with our young people. There is a lot of values to be instilled in communities, such as self-respect, respect for one's property and the respect for the property of others.
He made the call for parents to do their part in bringing up their children in the right way.
To continue to develop our young people to understand that they must work hard for that which they want in life, and it must not be that they can get same from injuring and harming and doing grievous bodily harm to other persons, and therefore the law people like this must feel the full brunt of the law. We must set the example that this is not the way to go. We must look out in communities.
He underscored that through this, a culture change in the way we view material things must happen. Meanwhile, the minister says saving lives can start with mentoring persons within our communities.
In our communities, we have to get the policemen and the public servants and the teachers to deal with it on a community level, to have this intergenerational conversation, this mentorship, because you are saving lives, both the life of the potential victim and even the life of the child that is delinquent. You remember the Sunday school? That was a real thing in villages and communities. Now people have become very busy. All the Hindus and Muslims in the community would be found in the Sunday school. And similarly, when it is the time of Diwali, everyone is celebrating. And when it is a very important Christian function, you carry your friends to the church. We have to return to that. We have to get as much of that back as possible.
Minister Ramadan Singh says government intends to open homework centres across the nation where former policemen and teachers will work with youth in lending support to the building of communities. Kimberly Ram-Kalawan, News 4.
Well, that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barreto. Thank you for joining us.